Run.
There is a new Sniper Elite game again, the game that is known for shooting Nazis along with the brutal X-ray images where their intestines and brains are completely pulverized by the bullets. This was quite fun for the first few parts, but for me it started to go downhill as the parts followed each other. The fact that the levels became bigger and therefore had more freedom did not help. I found it more and more a mediocre Hitman copy where the game quickly turned into a basic shooter. But I still have the hope that each part is different, and after all, shooting Nazis with nutshots where you see the testicles completely getting pulverized never gets old, right? Right? Spoiler, it does get old.
These nuts. Got him!
In Sniper Elite Resistance you also play as a sniper behind enemy lines, this time called Harry Hawker. You play a story that runs parallel to Sniper Elite 5, and together with the local resistance you go to an occupied French region to find more information about a super weapon that the Nazis appear to have called Kleine Blume, and ultimately stop it. You do this in 9 missions in almost all different areas, because some maps are reused. For example, you go to the same dam twice, but other areas, such as the cities or the more rural environments, are different but are so full of the same assets that it does not differentiate itself much from other levels. And in those levels you do the well-known things: you place satchel charges on certain targets, you steal plants, infiltrate bases, and you have the side objectives such as extra targets in the form of top Nazis.
Philo Beck, infamous partisan hunter according to his file.
It is a familiar recipe that has not changed since the previous games, but also within this game it does nothing new.
That's gotta hurt! It's gotta hurt! Hurt!
And in the gameplay it does nothing new either. You still sneak through the levels and try to snipe enemies as stealthy as possible, including the well-known X-ray kill cams. You sneak through tall grass, make stealth kills with your knife, scout with your binoculars where the enemies are, and then systematically go through the map looking for objects that are useful and ways to defeat your enemies unseen and unheard. The open maps give you the option to achieve your goals in multiple ways and also offer some creative freedom. But it will never get as good as Hitman though. The options are too limited for that, and in addition, the game usually degenerates into a fairly ordinary shooter when you get caught once. And so each level feels like a repetition exercise, especially because little to nothing new happens compared to previous parts. Yes, it is cool that you can spot routes of enemy vehicles and place a mine on the route. And it is also fun to leave enemies that you have killed inside and then booby trap them.
Surprise, motherfucker!
But after a few times you have seen enough of that too. And then at a certain point the levels simply start to become boring. By exploring the maps you can find new starting locations, and you can also find workbenches with which you can upgrade your weapons and unlock new parts, and there is also a fairly standard skill tree that does not really add much depth. Replayability is therefore attempted but never really comes into its own. To create some extra longevity there are extra propaganda missions, there is a multiplayer aspect with invasion where strangers join your game and you can hunt them down, but to be honest I found that just annoying. It has to be said, games like Hitman are simply much better in replayability than Sniper Elite Resistance.
It's gotta hurt!
The presentation is okay-ish, but also quite mediocre on many fronts. For example, some assets are completely out of place. For example, water flowing along the rocks. They are two assets that are just flat next to each other and it just looks out of place.
What is that?
The character models are also early PlayStation 4 era at best, and the voice acting is mediocre as well, especially in the case of the French-English accent, where it's actually terrible. You almost think you're playing a Ubisoft game.
You are the SOE agent?
Oh, what are you? Another Diable.
Oh mon dieu!
Oh, the foof.
Add to that the necessary clipping issues and the technical shortcomings, and you'll soon see that presentation-wise that there is quite a bit to be said. It's not bad everywhere, there are some pretty cool views, and of course the gore is captured wonderfully as always.
Pretty cool.
Sniper Elite Resistance is like a Big Mac. It's a pretty decent snack, but it's not really good either. Especially since the burger in the box has already fallen apart halfway and the employees have forgotten the cheddar. It's old and familiar, but in the end a bit disappointing. So I give Sniper Elite Resistance a 6.3. Especially since it's on Game Pass, you can enjoy it for a while, but unfortunately it's not a real top game.
Well, that was clear.
And that brings us to the end of this review. What did you think of Sniper Elite Resistance? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. And for live gameplay you can go to Twitch, twitch.tv/gameplayofjay, and don't forget to follow there too. For more content, check out the suggestions on the left or the channel on the right. And for now, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!